You've seen people start print on demand with $0, but also people spending thousands and thousands of dollars on ads. So which one actually works? Well, today I'm going to show you exactly what happens at $0, at $100, at $500, at $1,000, and at $10,000 so that you don't waste a single penny. There's so much advice out there, some telling you it's free to start and totally passive, others telling you it'll cost you a bit but being quite vague, and then some saying to have $1,000 saved up for this. Meanwhile, you have absolutely no idea who to actually listen to, and you can't be sure if people are pushing their own agendas. So in this video, we're going to squash all of that, and I'm going to tell you what happens if you have a certain budget to start print on demand. Here are the 5 budget tiers. Each one is represented by a 1x2 Lego brick. Each brick's value is $10. That puts into perspective how much you actually have to have. This pretty much covers every type of person, so you can be sure you'll finish this video knowing exactly what to do. I've started at every single one of these budgets. Yes, even the $10,000 budget, and that was a huge mistake. And the main budget type that I actually like to teach is the $500 to $1,000 range, which is the budget that most of my students do and have the most success in. It's the one I feel most comfortable talking about. But let's be real, not everyone has $500 to $1,000. You might need to start with 0, where there's no bricks. Starting with 0 isn't easy. You can't just throw money at ads or sign up to higher performing platforms. But here's the good news. You don't need any of that to actually make your first sale. Instead, you just need to think a little differently, because when you have no budget, your time becomes your biggest asset. Let me show you exactly how to use it. When I say starting from 0, I mean literally starting from 0. No Lego bricks. So many times I see videos on YouTube telling you how to start from 0. Then they proceed to use Kittle or Canva in their tutorials. These tools are not free, therefore that wouldn't be starting from 0. There are a few platforms that you can actually start with. The ideal choice would be Merch by Amazon, although not everyone gets accepted there, so a backup could be TeePublic. In terms of making designs, you could use Figma to create very basic designs, and if you want to venture into slightly more complicated designs, you could use Photopea or GIMP, 2 free Photoshop-like tools. As I said earlier, your biggest asset is your time here, so use it wisely. And we're going to use it for research. It all begins with research at the end of the day. And I don't care if you've heard this 1,000 times, it's so insanely important. Most people will teach research methods that require tools, which once again cost you money. Well, here is one free method that I use on a weekly basis to conduct research. This is Etsy. We all know what Etsy looks like, right? I'm going to show you how I do the free research now. So basically, let's put in a niche. Let's go fishing t-shirt. There's a couple of things that we are looking for. We are looking for bestsellers. We are looking for star sellers. We are looking for, we are looking for reviews. We are looking for various different things. We're looking for good designs. And I'm going to show you. So when you search a fishing t-shirt, it says 1,000 plus items with ads over here. You can sort by most relevant, by price, by top reviews, whatever you want, right? So we can just scroll down and we can just use our eye. And a lot of the time that is what I do. Because I've seen literally tens of thousands of designs, I've become really good at just being able to identify what a good design is. And if you feel like you're not there yet, don't worry. That just comes with a lot of practice and time. But there's a couple of things that we can do. So first thing is we can click Star Seller up here. And this will show us all the potential star sellers in this like fishing niche, right? On Etsy. So, masturbator, I'm either fishing or thinking about it, I love my wife. And you can see these are all star sellers, right? Now, star sellers doesn't give us like everything we want. So we can also change it to bestseller. So up here at the top in the URL, we can change the word star to the word best, right? And then this changes everything to bestsellers now. Bestseller, 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 bestseller. And what you also have to understand is sometimes there might not be bestsellers. So if you're doing a niche and you search for it and then like bestsellers are all random, like they're just not the right thing. For example, this is a camo cap weekend sticker or something, or design that you can just buy. That doesn't give us much. So if you can't find many results in the bestsellers, it doesn't mean that the niche doesn't work. It just means it's clearly not that popular. So this example, Cranky, this is a bestseller, awesome. WTF, where's the fish? This Cranky one as well. This one is great as well. So we can see these are popular now. This is a bestseller. Master Beta is a bestseller. There's quite a few master betas, which this is also, I think, a master beta, which also gives us a good indication of what could work, the kind of humor that this niche is expecting. So now what we do is we can actually click onto one. So let's click onto this one. This is a popular now. It's got 4.9 stars, 2,900 reviews for the shop. They are also a star seller. So let's click this. Okie dokie then. So if we scroll down, we can see two different types of reviews. You've got reviews for this item and reviews for this shop. Don't be confused. Sometimes people will see 4,900 reviews, lots of reviews. They'll click on the product, they'll see all these reviews, and they'll just think, wow, that's amazing, this product is really popular. Actually, what you need to look at is reviews for the individual item, because that shows that this item got sales and people are actually reviewing and buying it. To me, 111 reviews shows a hell of a lot of sales, well over 500 sales for this kind of design. And that's just my experience on getting reviews and running stores. So knowing those numbers, maybe everyone won't know those numbers. But we can scroll through all of these reviews and have a look at them. We can see what people liked, what people didn't like. So you can see delivery was 3 stars. That's interesting to know. Most of them are just going to be 5 stars. So this, to me, shows real potential with this design. So once we've done that, we've kind of seen, okay, this is a good design. It's got reviews. That is going in our mood board already. But what we can also do is we can go into their store, Old School Culture, and we can have a look at a couple things. The first thing is we can look at is their sales. So 18,785 sales. That is a good sign. That shows that the store is very, very popular, getting a lot of sales. You can see this is the official second account of Old School Cult, over 60,000 sales and 12,000 reviews. So maybe that in their first store it was even bigger. I wonder what happened there. Maybe it got closed. Who knows? Who knows with Etsy these days? So just to kind of go over what we've just done, we're able to search by bestseller. We're able to search by star seller. We're able to see what's popular now. We're able to see reviews of an entire shop, reviews of individual products, which can kind of gauge how many sales it's got. And then we can actually click on in the actual shop and see how many sales it's got over here. The last thing, like I said earlier, is just being able to spot a design by eye. So scrolling through, we can see that's, well, let's scroll through, let's do a different niche, cycling t-shirt. Let's have a look. So to me, I look at this, I'm like, that's a cool design. To me, I look at this, I'm like, not the best design, and it kind of shows 14 shop reviews. And if we click on it, does it have any? So these are all shop reviews. So this shop has 14 reviews, but this actual individual product has no reviews, which doesn't mean it has no sales, but it's likely that it has no sales. This one, 5,000 shop reviews and 319 reviews for this item. To me, that shows that this item has had over 1,000 sales. It's very, very popular. I can go into this one as well. 30,000 sales to the store, so that makes sense. So a lot of this, for me anyways, it's going to be spotting by eye what's a good design and adding it to our mood board to take inspiration from, to try and find some good ideas, to try and find some good phrases. Like this Cranky phrase is brilliant. It's a good day to ride is good. You can see a lot of people are using Cranky. Psychopath is also very good. You can see 3,700 reviews. But again, never forget that store reviews. Always click onto the product to see if it has any product reviews. Let's see if this one does. Yeah, 34 reviews. That's great. So that is how you can conduct completely free research using Etsy. And it doesn't matter how much money you start with, what your budget is. This is always good. And I will do this kind of research every single day. Even though I have access to all sorts of apps, this kind of research I find is so much better because you're really in the thick of it. You're really in the weeds, right? So you're really understanding what you're doing. You're not just relying on an app to be like, okay, this one has had 500 views and 2 sales and this and that. Like you're really doing the research, and I think that makes a massive difference. Spend time researching what works. Adapt and create an unhealthy amount of designs. not a healthy amount, a lot of designs. Now, if you can scrape together just $100, right, that's this, $100, things start to get interesting because suddenly you have options. But if you spend it wrong, you'll be worse off than if you started with zero. Let me show you the right way to do it. Doors start opening for you now, and you can easily get ahead of yourself signing up to Kittl, signing up to Canva, to Creative Fabrica, to Allura, and then all of a sudden, you're back to zero. You haven't really gained very much. On top of that, most of those tools are actually monthly costs. So after a few months, you're going to have to cancel your subscriptions to them. With $100, I would still say your time is your most valuable asset, and you need to really use it well. The research methods stay the same. You don't need to pay for a research tool. Just do it yourself. One key difference here is you've just unlocked a new platform to sell on. You no longer need to rely on TeePublic or put all of your dreams into Amazon and then potentially get rejected. With $100 at your disposal, you've just unlocked Etsy. Now, Etsy charges a one-time setup fee. It's between $15 and $20. There's no real concrete information, so let's take away 2 bricks. And this leaves you with around $70 to $80. I would put part of that $75 into some sort of design software, but not an ongoing monthly expense. I would put it into Affinity Designer, which you can pick up for pretty cheap. So let's move another 3 for Affinity Designer, because you can pick it up for around $30. Now, the reason I say this is because your biggest asset here is your time. So signing up to a platform like Affinity and using your time to learn how to use it, it will unlock endless potential with your designs. It's one of the major platforms that we teach in our community, and it's taking non-designers and turning them into artistic masters. Quite literally, it really is doing that. Now, at this budget level, I would still continue to upload to Amazon and to TeePublic, but I would also put designs on Etsy. Careful here, as each design will cost you 20 cents. So if we take, $50 worth, which is all the money we have left, that could get us 250 designs on Etsy. That's not many, but it's a great start. And if you do your research well, these 250 designs should be pretty good building blocks for what's to come next. Now, $100, that gets you in the game, but $500? That's where things get tricky, because now you have a big problem. Do you go all in on one strategy or spend your budget across multiple bets? And this is where people start to overthink and end up throwing it all away. Just like that, right? So here's exactly what you need to do. You need to change almost nothing. You have a design tool that you now know how to use. You have 3 platforms that you are selling on. So where does this $500 go? Well, it could go to a few places. You could put a small amount of it towards graphics and designs, like buying ready-made graphics, whether that's signing up to Creative Fabrica, signing up to Midjourney, Mystic AI, or another tool that will help you create better graphics faster. That could be about this. Another portion of it should go to adding more designs to your Etsy store. A further 100 towards this would get you 500 more designs on your store. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now, it doesn't need to be t-shirts either, by the way. You could sell digital files, mock-ups, planners, whatever you want. And then have a look at what's left. Quite a lot, right? Now, a small portion of this should go towards Etsy ads so that you can start running traffic to your designs and getting as many views as possible. At this point, I would suggest only driving traffic to the designs that are showing the most potential. At this point, you hopefully have a little bit of data of what's actually getting clicks and potentially even getting sales. This should be a good indicator as to where to put your ads, where to put your Etsy ads money. Now, I want you to go all in with your current strategy. Really give it your all. Don't spread yourself thin and launch a Shopify store or something. You will end up throwing it all away and starting right back at $0. You need to be really smart here because $500 seems like a lot, but it can disappear really fast. I would argue that at $500, you're still in testing mode, but at $1,000, now you can actually start competing with the big players. The question is, do you go aggressive and risk it all, or do you take it slow? The answer depends on one key factor, and most people get it wrong. Time. Do you have time? Are you in a rush, or are you happy to take your time and increase your chances of getting it right? At the $1,000 level, you should start looking at Shopify and Facebook ads. This is where what felt like a slow, small side hustle can now turn into a fully fledged e-commerce business. You can and should keep what you've done with Etsy and other platforms, but your focus should shift now to the more scalable option of Shopify. Now, if you're doing extremely well with Etsy, lots of sales, all of that, and really making a difference to your life, don't ignore it. Keep it going and continue to focus on it. If you're starting with this bigger budget here, you can skip all the previous steps and go straight to Shopify if you want. The same advice goes for the tools and the software I recommend. I don't think because you have more money, you should waste it on more tools. Instead, use that money to start your own store. And this should cost you no more than $30 to $50 a month. But let's just put in an extra $50 and say it's $100 just to really be clear. And then use the remaining budget very carefully on advertising and testing various design mock-ups. This is a good chunk of money to really make a difference. Now, many people at this budget go crazy and spend it all on stupid ads, not really paying attention to the data or even realizing what they're looking for. Please don't do that. If you're going to go down this route, spend small amounts on ads, just like this, and then act on that data, not on the emotional reaction that you have to your ads. Now, here's the big one. Most people think that throwing $10,000 into print on demand is guaranteed success. But it's not. Actually having this much money can make it a lot harder. It sounds crazy, I know, but let me show you why more money doesn't mean better results. At $10,000, my advice barely differs from the $1,000 level. A few extra things that you can do, such as buying more ready-made designs, buying more mock-ups, testing with slightly larger budgets, and having a sense of security knowing you've got more money to play with. So, let's just keep moving. These are all different ads and buying stuff that's great. That's really, really great. What it doesn't mean is instead of spending $20 a day on an ad, I'm going to spend $100 a day on an ad. Don't do that. $20 is this, but $100 is this, right? It's significantly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's significantly more. Having this much money can make you complacent when it comes to ads and budget. I've seen people spend thousands and thousands on ads simply because they had it. They didn't analyze the data until the very end of the test. They did little to no research because they thought, well, it doesn't matter if 50 designs fail. Who cares? I'm sure one will be okay. Well, no, it's not that simple. Have a look at this pile. It's a pretty big pile, right? This represents $10,000. Now, does it look any different if I just remove these 5 bricks, right? Just these 5 bricks. Not really, right? But in reality, that is $500 gone just like that. Remember, even if you have a large budget, every dollar is valuable and it should be treated very carefully. Don't let yourself get caught up in this large budget, this large startup capital, and end up throwing away small amounts by small amounts, more and more until literally that's all gone. And then that's all gone. And then that's all gone. And you're literally left with a very, very small amount of money. Design research is key throughout every single budget level. And as you go towards the higher budget, analyzing the data daily is key as well. Making sure your cost per click on Facebook is good. Making sure your average order value is very high or high enough to actually make profit. Don't let your big budget give you a big ego. There's more chance that someone at 10K will go down to 0 and get nothing from it than someone with 1K, as someone with 1K will be a lot more frugal and careful with their ad spend and their general spend. Taking pieces away from $1,000 is a lot more noticeable. At every budget level, you're also unlocking an element of speed. At $0, it could take you a long time for you to start seeing your hard work pay off, to start getting some traction and hopefully some sales. Whereas at $1,000, you could get your first sale on day 1 of advertising. It's a very different game. Both are good, but different. Now, another thing to remember is at every budget level, research is incredibly important and should not be overlooked. Spend time on it, fail with it, learn from it, and keep improving. All right, now you know exactly what to do at each budget level. But there's one more thing, and even with the perfect budget, none of this works without making designs people actually want to buy. And that's what I'm breaking down in the next video. So watch this video next here to really give yourself a leg up.